Hello guys, we meet again with Enabling Supply Chain Management channel, and tonight I will become a host. So we will talk about a very interesting topic. But before that, I want to call our speaker, which is Mr. Fadjar. Hello, Mr. Fadjar, our speaker.
Hi, hello, good evening, Pak
Yeah.
Denny
Yes.
and all.
Yeah. So you are a speaker tonight, right?
Oh, am I supposed to be a speaker? I thought I'm in the wrong time to be here, Pak Denny.
Yes. Yeah. Because the schedule is I'm a host and then you are a speaker. Is it
Oh,
correct?
really? Because I thought it will be somebody else, Pak Denny.
So what are you supposed to be tonight, Pak Fajar?
Uh, I thought gonna be Pak Chrisnove Harisandi, right?
Yeah, that's a speaker. So you are a host. So how come it's a double host tonight? So you are a host and I'm a
Oh,
host.
okay. Yes. I remember. I will become the house.
Oh
I will become
yes.
the host here. So no problem.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'm the host.
it's been I'm in the wrong time, right? So I'm not supposed to host to it. So you are a host tonight.
And
Okay.
never mind. Never mind, but okay. Okay, everyone. So
So you can
let me
continue.
take over to become the host for this session. So good evening, everyone. Professional expert in this channel. So as I promised that I will take over to become a host in this segment. And then the session will be discussed about what lean can help in a crisis. So the session will be very interesting, and I believe that all of you will be getting a value, knowledge, and a tips, a hints from one of the expert in this area. So he already delivered a lot of theory, principle of lean, and I will welcome Pak Chrisnove Harisandi to come and join. Good evening, Pak Chrisnove.
Good evening, Pak. Glad to meet you, Pak Fadjar. I believe that you came in the wrong
Yeah,
time, or is it Mr. Efrata?
supposed to be I'm in the right time, and Pak
Okay,
Efrata is in the wrong time. That's why he
okay,
disappeared now. So
okay,
so just both of us. So I will try to introduce you a little bit that you're already an expert in lean, because if I read your title is it's like you already certified for the black belt, the Six
nice.
Sigma black belt. So the black belt is associated with uh, a lot of lean project behind that. And I think the project and the theory and also the best practice that you will learn to everyone in this channel will be represent that it will help the professional and the guys here to take some important part, yeah, from you, Pak
Okay,
Chrisnove.
yeah. Okay. Hello, everybody, uh, professional and expert. Today we will discuss more about the philosophy, how lean can help you in a current crisis. I think it's lean is not just about the tools; it's about mostly about how the mindset works. So this is the time that I will share about how can lean help the crisis in maybe your company or even in your industry. I believe that's it.
Yeah, thank you. Very good brief in the beginning. So as usual, before Pak Chrisnove, you deliver the the slide presentation. So we're gonna talk about the Menti, like the menti.com. We're gonna talk about one word about crisis. So, but I think somebody needs to elaborate about this sentence. I think someone, can you come? Can you come in? Because we are in the segment of Menti.
Well,
Oh, so you are not come. So I think let's start.
You
Oh,
call
okay,
someone?
Pak Denny.
Yes.
Yeah,
why are you
someone
here,
is
Pak?
yours.
Oh, I'm in the
Yes.
middle of speaker and host. So what do you call me?
Okay.
I think you're Hosker.
So host and speaker. Why not spe host?
Because
Because I'm between host and speaker.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So menti.com.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah,
Fadjar,
Pak Denny.
you are a host, so you can lead how people can join the Menti.
Yes. Yes, everyone, please go to the and the number is 8244505.
Wow, COVID-19
Please
broke,
feel.
collapse, wealth, broke. Very interesting. What do you think?
wow.
Where is Mr. Fadjar?
Please feel accordingly, the Menti.
Oh. Yeah, I think some words already there, Pak Fadjar and Pak Chrisnove.
Yes, there's a COVID-19. Well, yes, this
Yes.
what we are talking
Yes.
today is about the crisis that we have. Yes, COVID-19. And then money, of course. The crisis involved in many things. One of it is money. And then disaster, of course. There's two types of crisis. There's a small crisis, there's a big crisis. But, well, some of it create a disaster, but some of it, yeah, it creates a little disaster.
Yeah, disaster become big. Can Hosker tell something in here or spe host?
Spihos only watching. No,
Okay,
Spihos can
so
also talk.
I keep silent,
about-
yeah.
No. It's okay, Pak. Please give us your opinion.
Yeah, my
So
opinion
think-
is.
I think
Yes. Money have a relationship with cost because money and cost have a relationship with broke, Pak. So I think, yeah, this is a very good sentence, yeah. So it's like I have money, so I can pay the cost, and I become a broke. So this is a disaster, yeah.
Yeah.
I think better I keep silent, yeah, become spe host. Yeah, please, Mr. Host, Mr. Fadjar, so I will disappear.
yes. Okay, Pak Chrisnove. I think disaster is the biggest word here.
Hmm. Well,
I don't
it's
know
a-
why disaster will be associated with lean.
Yeah, but yeah, disaster can also there, but it's a crisis has two sentence in it. It can be danger or it can be a turning point or opportunity. So one of it, yeah, maybe disaster, but one of it maybe even growth or what you call it, even prosper. So there's a crisis. It can be because the point of crisis is the turning point.
Yeah.
You go to disaster or you go to prosperity. Well, I see there's a difficult crisis is synonymous with difficult times. And collapse,
Okay.
yeah, there's also maybe one way of a crisis maybe into collapse like a disaster, but one way or the other there's growth maybe. And there's bad, well, crisis, yes, it's not always bad. Opportunities.
Okay, thank you, Pak
There's
Chrisnove.
disaster, there's an opportunity, and then there's saving. Oh, I don't see the relation. Sorry. And then the lean. Well, that's what we're going to learn about here, about lean and crisis. Humanitarian. This is probably the crisis of humanitarian. Well, crisis can happen everywhere. So in our discussion today, especially about the COVID-19, people will be the first step or the first process that we have to handle. Malevolence. Wow. Yeah. Probably. The other one is maybe plan. Okay. There's planning, right? Of course, to manage crisis, we have to plan to manage the crisis. And then I can see the other one. It's value collapse, both over. Yeah, maybe crisis is over what we can do or what we expect. It's over what we expect. Economic. Well, crisis happens everywhere, especially this one. Starting from the health or from the health to the social, to the economy, and to everywhere else. So this COVID is a crisis of very over proportionate type of crisis because it happens all over the world. Well, I see that disaster is the biggest response from our audience. Well, yeah, it can be, but this is why we need to do something about crisis so it will not become a disaster. Yeah, Pak Fadjar.
Okay. Yes. Okay, Pak Denny. Thank you for your feedback or comments about some words that appear from Menti. So all of words I think is associated with the current condition that we need actually to start thinking about lean because the momentum now it's started. The pressure from the pandemic, the pressure from economic situation, and also the condition from the company that needs to have a look and focus on the lean. Whatever the scale is small, medium, or high, it's truly beneficial for the company. I think it's a very crucial, yeah, Pak Chrisnove, that you mentioned a lot of words that
Yes.
appearing in the Menti. So disaster is, I think, the consequence, yeah, Pak, because this is a very big vote, yeah, from the participants, from all the professional here. So means that maybe you can elaborate later about the disaster, yeah, in your maybe in your segment.
Right.
I think we are gonna start with the slides, the philosophy that you're going to share, and also the best practice, how and when it's going to be applied, yeah, for the lean facing in the crisis. Okay, so Pak Chrisnove, this is the time. So the time is yours to share the crisis, the philosophy Maybe Lean can help it. Okay, the time is yours, Pak Chrisnove.
Okay, thank you, Pak
Please.
Fadjar. Let's move on to the next slide, please. Well, I will start with being better able to cope with small and large crises is the point of Lean. I will talk about this because this is what Lean can do for us. It's supposed to be able to cope with this. In the previous crisis, when it's a financial crisis in, I think, is in 98 or 2008, 2009. Well, it is a slogan that many company can use, because going lean has become one of the most popular business improvement practice today. Well, it's starting with aerospace and automotive and healthcare providers and even retailers. The whole corporation across many range of industries embrace lean as their practice. They accepted the method, the means, the powerful means for driving up the operational efficiencies by removing waste on all of its form. So the result, they can have significant impact to lower costs, to increase quality, faster flow of product and services to customer. This in turn will create a better market or better response from the company to the situation. The example of this is the most successful, I think, is a firm like Toyota or Walmart. And there are many others that achieving transformational result. How they looking beneath the visible symptoms and rethinking how today's management, today's implementation of management, and then this company seems to build the capacity to right themselves when the things going wrong. So they're studying, they make their operation better in decision making and information processing, and improving their ability to innovate and even due to challenging circumstances. So next. Well, I have read some companies' presentation, and it's automotive suppliers. It talk about business interruption risk management. It's not only from that kind of supplier, IT, mining, financial, also talking about business interruption risk management. Well, for this particular automotive supplier, it said that it emphasized that the only way to deliver bad part to customer and 100% delivery was to be constantly on the alert of any situation that might lead to non-supply. We have to make it bold, the constant alert. So this is a process that practice that train the company to always be in alert and constantly changing. There are many changes happen, like in financial issues or strikes and disputes, or organizational consolidation, or activity restructuring, or supply chain modeling, or anything else. This is the kind of things that could happen. So with this upside down thinking, the constantly being alert made me realize that most of the management playbook today is about changing things and then optimize the current situation without the regard of increased business interruption risk. Our playbook today is only think about changing things, that current situation. Well, too often companies plan and fine-tune their activities and on the presumption that they will operate largely on a stable environment. But by doing this, they are doing something without understanding the dynamic condition, and then all of a sudden change happens, and then it drives waste that accumulates. And in the first place, they do this without understanding their condition. So in doing so, they have risk of increasing the difficulty of navigating challenging times. So with this, company should be able to see that their current practices or their current playbooks is only trying to change what they seem to be a stable environment. The truth is, environment is always changing. There's VUCA, there's change everywhere. So, in the other hand, lean thinking is about engaging everyone every day in handling interruption and learning to react better. So it's becoming increasingly clear that we need to better understand how going lean can be achieved in today's complex dynamic and in today's business environment to cope with this kind of change. Next one. In Chinese writings, there are two words about crisis: danger and turning point or change point. And some say it's a danger or opportunity. This is the means of crisis in Chinese, and crises are permanent. Crisis will be there. In English, crisis means a time of intense difficulty or trouble or danger. In English, it can also mean an event that is going to lead to unstable and dangerous situation affecting everything. Or it can also mean that a time when difficult things happen, the important decision must be made. So there are small crises that we can ignore, like when we're going to a party and then we need to pick a dress like that, and then we see that there's time and the time is short, and then we have to choose what we're gonna wear. Maybe for the ladies, this is kind of crisis. Or when we lose our pen and then we need to decide, should we buy or should we borrow something. And then there are large crises that we have fallen victim of, like in financial crisis or current pandemic crisis. So I want to picture ourselves when we want to drink. Picture ourselves, we want to drink, and then in the kitchen we grab glass, like in the cupboard. But there are three risks that happen for that glass, what we want to drink of. First, it can fall. It will slip from the hand and then fall to the kitchen. Maybe it will fall and then it will break. It will fall and nothing happens. The destiny of the glass is true, that the destiny of glass is going to break sooner or later. But the risk that happens with that is the glass might be not broken. We call it glitch. The glass not broken, and you relieve, and then you pick it up and you pour the water. Or the second one, when you take the glass falls and then it breaks. It's called breakage. You curse and then you clean the mess and pick up another one. And then the third one is the outage. It's probably the last glass on the cupboard. So you have to, I say, maybe you have to buy another cup, another glass, or you clean up the glass before that all that was dirty. So in either case, there are three things that you need to do. There's two things that you need to do. You have to change, you have to reschedule. You have to change to another glass or you have to reschedule. Even though the first one is glitch because there's a reschedule or a delay in time. The next one. So next one is asking why. Faced with any problem, our instinct is to correct, rework, or reschedule. From the previous example, we need to correct, rework, or reschedule. And then Lynn asked us to look at the small incident and ask why. So we can recognize the repeatable experience and learn to cope with this and to make it less risky, like glitch, breakage, or outage. So in this drinking glass analogy, Lynn is realizing that the glasses stored is in really awkward location or awkward place. Maybe you have to bend or you have slippage or anything, and it's tricky to grasp, so it falls. This is kind of learning that happens. And back to the automotive suppliers before that in the previous slides, maybe at that time that logistics are just in time principle of high frequency truck picking every part each time from the suppliers. Well, and it's thought that it's not fragile, but quite the opposite. 10 trucks per day picking up small quantities every part gives them 10 opportunity in a day of fail and correct. So to recognize this and to learn from this, Lynn can minimize the condition of the risk. Next part. So what about the current condition of the current crisis? What can we extract? What can we simulate in that? We are now in a global epidemic coronavirus COVID-19. This is a crisis of astonishing proportion. This is really big, and it's going to last. So the entire business and economic the landscape shifted almost immediately, almost instantly. The level has been reset. Companies has no option but to adapt to the change or suffer the consequences, which is, it could be immediate or in a long run or long lasting. So how can Lean work in this condition or even how? On history, we've seen opportunity of seeing how Lean thinking management teams react to this situation or issues. There are 3 steps or issues that we need to face. First is our people safety. The second one is coming up with sensible reaction. And the third one is learn as we go. Our first one, the first step is our people safety and feeling of anxiety is the first chain, and we need to help. But before that, we need to face the issue that there is the understanding of human nature in panic and fear. In the very early stage of panic, everyone is, of course, trying to understand and scope the problem, how bad it is, and how long it is, and what's the time, what's the situation. And with this interruption in mind, we also realize that we need to deal with people everywhere. We need to start with recognizing, acknowledging, and understanding the fear out there and in our company, in severe situation, people choose to of this. They choose ignorance and they choose overreact. In ignorance, they keep their head down and hope the crisis will just pass them by. And they overreact. They jump the gun. They rise and often trigger the immediate disaster. They make it faster to try to stave off the future disaster. But this kind of fear and panic makes people bouncing between ignoring or overreact. So this is the degree of fear that makes you changes. We need to understand that with a vivid view of news or a personal incident, maybe in our brain, behind you call it amygdala, the part of our brain that experience emotion will hijack our brain. They will convince us that we're about to die and throw us in a fight or flee situation or a fight or flee response, which in business term, it will either deny or conversely, the other way around, prove that we are doing more than anyone else does. It's the same as overreacting. So, for the first one, for our people's safety, we have to make sure that when this happens, we have to know who do we talk to if we think something is happening. This can be from the briefing of management line or to listening or setting up calling call center or hotline number. And then if you fear that there might be a risk to this, we have to know that who to talk to and what the first step to take. So this is the first step, that our people's safety is the most important matter. Next one. Second one, this crisis, this COVID-19. We need to balance the fact that life and business must go on. With handling this problem, can we reroute the work, or in this present case, because diagnosing COVID-19 is kind of hard, can be just a simple self-quarantine or working from home. And then when self-quarantine at home or working from home happen, the problem become what support structure that we got in place. This is where we both need a plan and a way to make the plan work. So we cannot just let it be. We have to have plan and a way to balance this. For example, in World War II, there's a war room. I think it's a war room. It happened in the Battle of Britain, when they have enough planes to counter the Nazi, but they didn't have enough planes to cover everything. So they need to spot early, and then when the enemy strikes, they know where they're going to strike and then fight it head on. So they have the central response team to cover or to know or to foresee what will happen. In Lean, we call it OBEA. The principle is similar. Beyond making each department plan clear to others, to be visible to others, and then to facilitate spontaneous collaboration so people can help each other at point of strength. Let's say in a company, when some people got sick, or some people got working from home, and some people still working at office. There's a plan that we should do to make them work closely, make them work still running well. This case also happens in Toyota in 1997. The factory is ISIN. The supplier plant producing one of the components for this Toyota is burned down. So many people think that because Toyota is lean, this just in time will be proved to be a failure. But Toyota Group restarted the production very fast. Why? Because the recovery happened because of these other main suppliers and many other independent firms that support these main suppliers. They work together. And to the surprise of this study, there's no central command. But they independently cooperate, and then they solve the problem because they have this habit of problem solving, and this habit comes from Lean. So in the emergency response team like this, well, it's not, I'm not suggesting that, but this response, however, make sure that when they have this kind of habit and they've been orchestrated, it will be much more have contribution, will have more impact. So after changing, after setting up the chain of help and then helping the next Lean step in setting up the control room or the response team that will orchestrate the plan. So this is, we will see where the bottlenecks appear and then how to deal with them. So it's a better cooperation. It's a better work environment. Next one. The third one is learn as we go. This is where the management must be on the ball to facilitate hurdles or facilitate hitches, to make the process when it gets stuck, to organize the communication to the people impacted, and then to make the alternative plan. Many business and individuals are working hard to flatten the curve and respond to the societal needs. Well, some of these activities, including in shifting business model or changing mandates or changing the way it works, like eating in restaurants, switching to take out, changing the product from the alcohol production to hand sanitizer, and then changing the process, maybe the continuity of the operation. Lean can help you figure out what needs to be done when the change in the company have to be done, and to prioritize what's need to be done. This is what Lean can also help in this challenging situation. So this Lean methodology and tools outline the role of leadership and highlight the characteristic of successful leaders. Leaders can also illustrate what leaders need to do. Lean can also make sense of what leaders need to do to support their staff and employee in a way that we will build trust, credibility, and loyalty. And the end, it will be to inspire to be a model of behavior and to communicate. So the last one, next one. In summary, I want to ask, how well did we do in this time of crisis? If we adjusted quickly and smoothly, that's a good sign that we have a solid improvement practice. But if we struggle or worse, a threat to your business, that is a signal that we need to get better at getting better and rapidly. So how can you improve your ability to adapt rapidly? How do we evolve and adapt to our business strategies, operation at lightning speed, or rapidly changing to this uncertain environment? Well, I could say that we could embrace and employ Lean or Kata and Kaizen. This is the continuous improvement principle to make our company agile and adapt almost continuously. This will give us the systematic pursuit of desired condition by utilizing human capability in a concerted way. This will provide us with sustained competitive advantage and long-term survival, to the degree of which the organization will master an effective routing for developing solution over and over again. So when we commit to be better at getting better, we will strive to become the best possible of ourselves, the best possible version of our company. And we rapidly adapt to serve our company better, our customer better, to make the process easier and less frustrating to our company, our employee. This will in turn make our company better overall. And then when the market is there, we could grow. We could take over what other competitors doing. They're not doing well. This is when our time to be to be big. And although the Lean might seem fragile to crisis because of low inventories, it's quite the opposite, because Lean thinking is about training to solve small crises or problem daily. This is what we do when we make the groups of Kaizen, or we make groups of Six Sigma or PDCA or the mic. This is what we do, problem trying to solve problem daily. So when the real tsunami hits, the mental habit of reacting and learning from our groups, from our situation, it makes the reflex of relationship and coordination better to deal with the outage and all its surroundings, or in this case, to the crisis. So, from what we learned today, safety first, value flow second, and cost third. With this in mind, we have to think of how can we reroute activities, who do we need to ask to help, and how do we coordinate the initiatives. And then using Lean to make it better, to make it iteratively faster, we can cope with this. We can cope to build up the habit of fast learner to cope with this situation. So my last line is to improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often, by Winston Churchill. I think that's it, Pak Fadjar. Thank you for the time. And I welcome if any question appear.
Yes, thank you, Pak Chrisnove. Okay, very interesting. Thank you, Pak Chrisnove, for your slides. It consists three key important things, and I learned also from you about the three steps: the safety, the managing the reaction, and also the last one is about learn as we go. So it is very straightforward, ya Pak Chrisnove, about
Yes, Pak.
the steps, and I believe there is a many question appear in the YouTube channel. Let us start first, Pak Chrisnove. I will try to read the question. The first question is about, it's come from Pak Fadjaris. Good evening, Pak Fadjaris. Okay, the question is, good evening, Pak Chrisnove. What type of learn improvement with less effort but high benefits to the company in facing this pandemic era? So a good question because we knew that the pandemic is something like we need to deal with that, but the lean has to continue, ya Pak. Maybe you can answer this question, Pak.
Uh, okay, Pak. Maybe I still cannot read the question, Pak. Have to wait first.
Yeah, the question is, what type of lean improvement with less effort but high benefits to the company in facing in this pandemic era?
Okay. Less effort, but where's there?
Yeah, less effort but high benefit, Pak. Yeah, because the company actually will start to tightening the belt, the cash, maybe the cash very limit, but they need to conduct also in parallel, they need to conduct the lean improvement, because lean improvement actually come to the project, right? So the project, there is a cost part of the project. So I think that's the content of the question. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I have this difficulty in reading the question. So, okay, it's like this, Pak. The lean is because it's iterative. It's iterative to the company, to the people. It's becoming the habit of the people, the habit of the company. And what they're trying to do is, when we do lean, is to scope out the waste, scope out the fat from our body, from our company. So in turn, it can create a more streamlining operation. It's not only in the operation, but it can also be in the marketing, or with the customer, or with many facets of the company. So, because it's iterative and its focus is managing waste out of the body, so I think less effort, it will be less effort and high benefit will be there. It depended on the company. Maybe when we are now in the production, when people are still working at home, but I don't think that in the production people will be at home. Maybe in the production, people can make a cellular production, not just a straight line production or conveying, but make it more simple, like the Japanese do with the production cell. And then maybe in other parts, they have to think other ways, because this is what Lean do. Lean try to make people think about more more think about lesser doing to higher benefits. But I think it's dependent on the company.
Okay. Yeah. Certainly. Because the maybe I want to just a bit emphasize again the answer from Pak Chrisnove, that it depends on the company whether the company want to start from the small scale activity, which is tidying up with the daily activity, the small thing from the production floor. Yeah, Pak Chrisnove.
Right.
If some people they are working work from home, but some people they are working in the office. So I think that's depend on the company ya Pak ya. Okay, thank you Pak Fajaris for the questions. So we move to the next question. We have Pak Yunas MF. Good evening Pak, thank you for the question. Your question is, have you defined supply chain and production risks that crisis might pose, and what could you do to mitigate those risks? So this is the question from Pak Yunas, MF
Okay.
Pak Chrisnove.
Good evening, Pak Yunas. Oh, I forgot. Good evening, Pak Fadjaris. Well, Pak Yunas, the supply chain and production risk that the crisis might pose. Well, of course, this crisis, like the one that we have tomorrow, SBB will be tightened again. And then there's transportation, but I think that the government still allow the transportation happen. But in certain product, but in other products like that's not related to the social things, well, that's going to be a problem, and that's the risk that we have to face. But I think there's a way out, maybe when there's time when we need to coordinate the deliveries, the people who works in the place, and then the well, the point is that we need to coordinate to be able to work as a team, but this needs habit. This needs kebiasaan, habit, because some companies
Habit,
maybe
yeah.
not, some companies maybe didn't have this kind of habit of solving question or solving problem. So this kind of supply chain and production became the biggest risk to them. But for the company, for other companies that always that has the habit of improving, so they iterates the improvement, they iterates the situation and how to handle them. I think it becomes more fluently resolvable for them. So if I want to answer how to mitigate those risks, I say it's about implementing lean in an iterative way. So the people, not just the management who thinks about that, but also the people in the shop floor, they also have to think. They have to cooperate. They have to have the habit to solving problems. I think that's the answer, Pak.
Okay. Well, thank you, Pak Chrisnove. So the next question is coming from Pak Suryo Prasetya. Good afternoon, Pak Fadjar and Pak Sandi. Oh, sorry. Good evening.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening.
Pak.
Yeah, good evening, Pak Suryo. So the question is coming from Pak Suryo is, panic to cut fixed costs is usually the first instinct in crisis to repair the cash flow in short term. what is your suggestion if we should cut costs? Oh, this is interesting question, Pak Chrisnove, because most people usually panic as
Yeah.
is associated from your first step, yeah,
Yes.
how to overcome the panic situation. So this is relate and very close with the first step. Maybe you
Yes.
can answer this question from Pak Suryo.
Yes. There's panic and fear. Panic and fear makes a person goes to what do you call it? Hope it's over, and then uh, overreact. Or there's two types of response, ya, Pak. Fight or flee. Used to be fight or flee, or in this case, the first one is to flee or to just give up, and then the other one is to fight or to overreact in this case. So maybe to cut costs in the first place is overreact, but in lean, we lean also talks about being ready for everything, being ready, because we iteratively try to solve problems, and we see, and this is the kind of iterative that happens. What if this happened? What if this? What can we do? What can? Previously, I asked why, and why, and why, and then this is why, or what could happen, and then the why, and then the answer came. So being lean makes the company ready for such of this situation. So there will be no panic. If there is panic, and then we just cut cost, fixed cost, maybe from the people, maybe usually the first thing that they thought about cutting cost is cutting people. I think it's wrong. I did not agree with that, because there are so many things that waste that happens in the company outside the people. Yeah, well, I didn't encourage. I didn't encourage the company to. Sometimes we need to do that, but not all the time. Not because it's the easiest way to do. There are better things, and there are other things that we can do to reduce our cost.
Yeah. Okay, Pak Chrisnove. I think it's a very risk if the cut cost is become the the solution for every company, ya, Pak Chrisnove, to saving the cost. I mean, the saving the capital for the company facing the crisis. So this is the last resort, supposedly, Pak Chrisnove.
Yes, because by cutting costs that way, the repercussion will be happen in the long term. The people, the employee will not trust the company enough for them to work wholeheartedly. They will be in the constant fear of firing or something. So if the company can implement lean first, they will see, they will be able to iterate what things that can be let go, can be scooped out first from the company rather than the people.
Yeah. Of course, there will be a consequence from the company reputation as well.
Yes.
If the action is taken by the company to cut costs from layoff or something like terminate the employee. Okay. So there is a charge from Pak Yunas. Yeah, thank you, Pak Chrisnove, for the explanations.
Thank you, Pak Yunas.
It's quite clear. Yes. Yeah. I think it's already 8:30 here. Now we are facing 1 hour session. Maybe Pak Chrisnove, do you have any summary, or maybe yeah, there is no question. Just the last question from Pak Suryo. So
Okay.
I will have your maybe your wrap up, your summary of
So,
the slides or the content that you have present.
I
yeah,
appear in
thank you,
the
Pak.
middle again.
What? What
Oh,
happened here?
Yeah, because you're talking about
where
lean,
are you, Pak?
so
Where are you?
supposed to be lean, right?
Where are you?
Three. I'm here, Pak, in the middle of speaker and host.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
this
Okay.
I don't.
So
I cannot say anything about this person. He comes
we
up.
have to be lean, yeah.
He show up
Three
everywhere
people
that
is
he
not
wants.
lean, Pak.
Yeah.
Yeah, so supposed to be two people. So
Yeah, yeah.
I will disappear again. Please, Pak.
Is there anything that you want to
Yeah.
say, Pak?
Yeah, I think Pak Chrisnove, you need to summarize first and wrap up all the things that you have delivered with almost an hours. Please, Pak.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Fadjar. The first thing is that this COVID-19 is a crisis with a very big, how could I say this? The proportion is very, very big. It happens to us everywhere in the whole world. So we have to make sure first step is the people, then how to respond that sensibly response to our people and to the current business. And the third one is the management to learn as we go, as we walk the crisis. And for this to happen, we need to have lean mindset. What is it? It's a way to make a habit of iterating, of training the crisis, training the company to have to solve many things, because companies stand on a very unstable environment. We have to know that business playbook always talk about stability or the environment stability, but the truth is we're not. We're living in a world that's full of surprises. So we have to iterate, we have to train ourselves, we have to think. And what a better way to do that by, if not by lean. Lean teaches us about solving problems, every part of the company, not just the management, but also the people on the shop floor. And by the time the tsunami hits, the crisis, the big crisis hits, all our people, our company, they will be prepared for that. And that's the definition, that's the defining the winning team of this competition. Thank you, Pak.
Okay. Yeah, Pak Chrisnove, thank you for your wrap up. So if you don't mind, I have one question maybe before we end up the session. And the question maybe is just a simple for me. Usually there is a lot of function or a lot of area that will involve in the lean initiative. So do you think that the company needs a function called as a control tower to ensure that all the areas are synergized conducting the lean initiative? And then what's supposed to be the function do as a control tower, Pak Krisno? Maybe you have some insight
Wow, yeah, Pak.
on your experience.
Well, it depends on the size of the company. But the first thing first is that the management, the owner, the higher up, they have to know that they have to know what is lean. They have to live by it. So it will deliver. It will impart to all the people in the company. And then when it impart, depending on the size of the company, I think it's better for us to have this kind of person. Maybe not a dedicated person, maybe just some person or a group of person, the control tower. Like I said in my presentation, there's also a need of a response team or a control team to know, to manage, or to just to make sure that the lean is not lost in the middle. That's it. I think it's my answer.
Yeah. Okay. Very brief, and very clear. And thank you, Pak Chrisnove. So before we end up, we would like to thank you for all for join us in the session. And supposedly there should be someone coming. We invite
we invite you, Pak Efrata, to come to the stage.
Yeah, to come to the stage, because we are now almost in the end up. So
yes, I'm in the middle again.
I will return back my return back my my host to you, Pak.
Why?
Efrata.
Why? You supposed to be host. You give the best opening and then you can close the session. Yes. Okay, thank you, Pak Chrisnove, and thank you also, Pak Fadjar. Yeah, you can do your job, Mr. Fadjar.
Thank you. You're welcome. My pleasure. Okay, so for those who will continue raise the question, don't forget to raise the question in our WhatsApp study group, in the IPC study groups. So from the participant who will request for the slide presentation, you need to fill also the forms that we will send you the link to fill up the form, and then the slide will be shared to you. Yeah, Pak Chrisnove, I think you are okay to share the slides to the participants?
Yes, of course, Pak, with pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. So it's already past 10 from the 8:30 p.m. So thank you all for having a good session with us. So I would like to thank you, Pak Chrisnove, also to you, and Pak Denny, who is also in the behind. So we will meet again in the next week with another guest speaker, which is, we certainly believe that it will give a lot of value knowledge and learning to with us. So have a good evening, and thank you. Bye-bye.